Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Heim Time.
Heim Time Podcast.
I'm Emma.
I am Travis Heim.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you.
So this episode was bomb.com.
It was so good.
Right. It was really fun. I hope everyone enjoys things like Bravo Housewives, because that's what you're getting.
Yeah. Bravo Housewives. I'm excited. I think I got to pull up the Patreon homies, but great episode. A lot has happened. We had our last episode was with Matt Pittman, our good buddy. We got a ton of downloads from that, a ton of views. So shout out if you listen to or watch Matt's podcast, and then you're listening now. Hopefully it'll be as good as that episode. We'll see.
We'll see.
This episode is brought to you by Agaves Tequila.
Yum.
What is Agaves Tequila?
100% USDA certified organic tequila.
When I drink tequila, I want organic and I want some sort of certification. And so this checks both of those boxes. It is delicious tequila, slow roasted for approximately 20 hours, almost like a brisket, you could say.
Wow.
Okay, great.
Also, they have mixers, which is really cool.
They do.
For people that don't like to drink straight tequila.
Yeah.
Yay. They have strawberry. They have agave nectar and Bloody Mary mix also.
Yeah, delicious stuff. Agaves Tequila. Thanks again for sponsoring Heim Time Podcast. Drink responsibly. Thank you for listening, and enjoy this episode.
Thanks.
Good evening from Fort Worth, Texas. It's slow here in the heat. We're down Main.
It's Heim Time.
Yay.
Welcome.
Episode 15, correct?
Yeah.
Outrageous, you guys.
Crazy.
Thanks for listening and downloading and liking and commenting and doing all the
Subscribe.
things.
Review.
Patreoning.
Patreoning.
Anyway, thanks, y'all. We made it to 15. We'll keep going. Thanks to your support.
15 episodes. That is shocking. I didn't know if we'd make 15, but so far so good.
Yeah.
I guess we haven't been canceled yet. We haven't pissed anyone off that I know of. So that's awesome. Yeah. If you want to support this podcast directly, patreon.com/HeimTimePodcast. As any loyal listener knows, we do Patreon shoutouts at the start of every episode. Patreon shoutout number 1, Carl Norman.
Carl, what's up?
Carl is, first of all, a great name.
Yeah.
It's like a very masculine name,
Carl.
I would say. Yeah. And then Carl was one of our first patrons, like Shug, stopped and then is now back. So shout out Carl. Great guy.
Oh, welcome back.
Number 2, Ben Halstead.
Ben. Another
Ben.
good name.
Benjamin, I would assume.
Benjamin.
Benjamin.
Welcome, Ben. Welcome to the club.
You rock. Number 3, Sarah Shatek, I think is how you pronounce this.
Sarah, ladies.
And once again, proof that women listen to this podcast as well.
All the beautiful babies.
Beautiful babies.
Thanks,
Beautiful
you guys.
ladies. And we have in the past tried to hook up some of our Patreon guests. One Bree. So too, if anyone, Carl, Sarah, if you guys need, some love,
we're happy to facilitate.
We'll put it out in the atmosphere and see, maybe 2 Patreon members fall in love, and who knows?
Time, love time.
Okay.
Oh my
Is that
gosh.
another episode?
Yes.
Okay. That might be the OnlyFans name.
Okay. Oops.
So yeah.
Don't Google that.
That's awesome.
Thanks,
Shout
you guys.
out, Patreon, follower, members, whatever. I still don't know what to say. Is it a patron, Patreon member?
I think patron. Is
But
that
yeah,
right? I don't know. You guys
anyway.
message us. Let us know.
We release all the video early on there. We do other cool stuff, videos. We need to do more like food recipe videos.
Yeah. We talked about that. We're going to do that.
Some other things that we're working on. But anyway, shout out. Please subscribe. YouTube, whatever, Spotify, all the stuff you're supposed to
Heim
do.
Time
So.
Podcast.
Anyway, you may notice I'm a little more trimmed up.
Oh, yeah.
I have a hat on, but shout out Shamia at the boardroom, my girl.
Dude, you don't do that. You can't do that because people are going to take your appointments. No one will never know who does my hair, which you guys might be like, well, it sucks anyway.
Yeah, right. The amount of money we pay.
Every time somebody's like, oh, where do you get your hair? I'm like, no, I'm not telling you. You're going to take my appointments.
Yeah, I did steal my friend Graham. I went in one time and Shamia, the first time she cut my hair, and I saw him and he was like, oh, Shamia normally does mine. And I was like, gotcha.
See, now Graham probably doesn't have appointments.
I don't know. They just had a baby though, so shout out Graham.
Oh, yeah.
Great dude. No, shout out Shamia. Does a great job. Was a little bit nervous trimming my beard, but it was also like just insanely long. Like if you notice on the last episode with Matt, I look pretty trim. I got a nice cut going and everything. That was after that, but probably the episode before that, it was a little sketchy. And I don't know if this is a funny story or a sad story, but the impetus to do this, I normally get my beard trimmed from my friend, but he's been busy and out of town and stuff. So, and he was like, I'm booked for like the next month.
Good for him. See, exactly. You told too many people.
I did. I honestly have told too many people probably.
I know.
Because I love.
I mean, I've totally supported them too. So
yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway, I can't get a fucking beard trim anymore, so like had to do something else. So Shamia was a little nervous, but did a great job. But no, I went to pick up food for us as a family, and I was leaving, and there was a I don't want to assume, but an unhomed homeless man,
a displaced individual.
Yeah, whatever the PC term
Street
for
friends.
that. Yeah, street friend, and he was dirty and had a very long beard. And as I was walking out, said, "Hey man, nice beard."
After that, good or bad?
I need to shave immediately.
Shave or trim?
At the moment, I felt like shave. I was like, I don't know. You know, maybe if the compliment came from someone else, but then what does that say about myself? You know, if like
a compliment's a compliment.
Young 19-year-old sorority girl was like, nice beard, I'd be like, hey, all right, I'm never shaving this. And then this homeless gentleman, you know, I reverse course. So I don't know. Anyway.
Was Shamia nervous because you probably made her nervous because you're like, don't mess up my beard?
I don't like to talk during haircuts, and I feel like that's weird for some people. Like
not talk?
I like the perfect haircut for me is I sit down and then for 30 minutes we don't talk.
Yeah. That's like the nail salon. I'm like, please don't talk to me. Please don't talk to me. Please don't talk to me. Put me next to the wall. Like, I don't want to talk to anybody. And then when they do, you feel so like sad inside. Yeah.
Or you're next to Leon Bridges.
Yeah, like 3 times that's happened. I'm like, hey, Leon.
She's awesome, super nice. And again, I probably shouldn't promote her because I want to make sure I can still get appointments. But we were talking about Vegas. That was another thing that like this guy, we've talked about this before, but I was sitting there waiting to get my hair cut, and this guy was like, hey, Travis, how's the baby? And I was like,
hello.
Good. Thanks for asking. And then you just have that moment of sheer like, do I know this guy? What's this guy's name?
Hey, Power Barbecue reaches all.
Yeah, and he seemed like a nice guy, and I guess we've met before or something. I don't remember. But one thing that was
clearly
weird
creeping on his
in our time together where he was talking to everybody and you know, like flirting, let's be honest, with the young ladies, and
you weren't.
no not me. I'm a father. He said to put peanut butter in chili.
Into chili?
Yeah,
like chili
creamy peanut butter into
Is this like he was talking to other people, or you were overhearing?
he was talking to anyone who was in the building. It was
I didn't know if that was
everyone
like a
who was
tit
there.
for Heim Barbecue for
No,
chili
he was
season.
like, Travis, have you tried this? And it was like, and not like during the cooking process, but I guess you like take your, bowl, and then you're like, oh, maybe some Fritos, maybe some cheese, onions,
afterwards?
and then just a scoop of creamy peanut butter.
Should we do this as a Patreon video? Try it out.
That might be a good idea.
Right?
But then, like, you're just gonna ruin
It's
good
gnarly.
chili. Yeah, it's intense. I do love peanut butter though.
Dude, I don't sometimes. Sometimes peanut butter can kick rocks, and then other times I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever had. Worst pet peeve for me personally.
I was about to bring this up.
Okay, have you guys ever smelled like peanut butter that has been like on a knife? So say you're making a sandwich and then you like put the knife like into the sink and then water gets upon it. It is the worst smell for some reason. It just is like, ugh, I don't know. Think of me next time you see a soggy knife with peanut butter residue.
I remember early on in our dating career where you mentioned wet peanut butter.
Dude, it's
and
a
it was
weird
one
thing.
of the strangest things ever, but also hilarious.
Do you not think it smells different?
I'm not sure.
Okay, well,
I'm
it
not
does.
sure.
Anyway,
You got mad because I put the peanut butter in the fridge the other day. But
okay,
it's like the natural.
you know, like the natural peanut butter
Yeah.
that's supposed to be like, oh, we're better than you, better than Jif. Well, what I'm telling you today is choosy moms choose Jif, okay? So anyway, it's like rock hard when you put that like Central Market, like Whole Foodsy, I'm better than
Organic.
you peanut butter.
Yeah.
And then like,
Is that the name of the brand?
I'm better than you,
peanut butter.
but then when you go to spread it, it is the
Yeah.
hardest thing, and I hate it so much.
Yeah.
And then I just am like, I shouldn't eat this anyway. This is the Lord telling me to not eat after 9 o'clock anyway. So,
Is peanut butter bad for you?
well, if, like I'm talking about like a PB&J, like
Yeah.
late night
Late
snack
night.
sesh.
Late
You
night
probably shouldn't do
PB&J.
like you shouldn't eat after a certain time, I think. But
Yeah. I
then
don't know.
your ass will make it and then leave that fork out, and then I gotta wash soggy peanut butter off of the fork.
Deal with it.
Anyway.
I remember, speaking of PB&J, there was a guy, I'm trying to think who it was, but this was a long time ago, but he said the secret to the perfect barbecue sauce was grape jelly.
Oh,
Have
really?
you ever heard this?
I don't think so.
Grape jelly
Maybe I have. Yeah.
in barbecue sauce, and I guess it's like a competition.
Secrets. Mm.
I don't know. It's very, very odd.
Maybe
but
add some tartness or something.
I guess I don't know, but like great if it's like Smucker's, it's like
Smucker's.
95% sugar. You remember where they had the peanut butter and the jelly in the jar?
Yeah,
the
it was
same
like
jar,
stripes.
dude.
Do you remember the squeezable kinds? Do you remember when they made the like green kind?
Green peanut butter.
Yeah, like
Oh.
wasn't that or like no wait, that was like ketchup.
I was about to say ketchup. I remember the
Sylvia
purple-
never would even go down that aisle. She's like, you get one celery stick. My mom.
We had the purple ketchup.
You guys would. 100% you guys would.
It was so weird. That's one of those
What
things.
brand is that?
It was, I thought it was Heinz. It was just like some
Wow.
weird marketing thing. Cause I think they had like green, purple. I'm trying to think what else. Red, obviously. That was there's so many weird, that's where we should do like a power rank or something of that. Like
Okay.
'Cause the freaking,
all zeros. It's like a power rank.
like weird like food things like that. Cause
Yeah.
we have, for a long time been fans of 3D Doritos.
3D Doritos.
And those were
Those are
gone.
coming back though. I saw some Cool Ranch
They have them now,
at Target the
but
other
for
day.
years.
But do they have Doritos? Regular Doritos?
I don't
cheese?
know. I think it said it was some like weird flavor. I don't know.
I'll be honest. Cool Ranch sometimes give me belly aches.
I mean, it's just chemicals, right? It's not.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not like I thought of that of the hot fries. You know, it's not
Chester's
like,
or
there's not that flavor doesn't exist in nature. There's not
No.
like, oh, this is a jalapeno. No, this is just weird chemicals with dye.
made in like a lab coat. place.
Yeah, a weird place. But are they delicious? Jeez.
Yeah.
Chips is one of the things I struggle with. We've been eating healthier lately and been doing a really good job.
No drinking
I would say.
either.
No drinking, which we need to talk about. Probably my last drinking experience, boys' night out. I had that on the list, but
What a nice
boys'
wife.
night out, boys' night out. Okay, the
just
one
kidding, I'm
boys'
kidding.
night. Okay, all right. The one boys' night out in the last couple of months.
Oh, same. I've never had a girls' night. I've had two, and you've had one, so we're basically evens.
Yeah, don't believe that. Anyone. Don't
Okay,
believe it,
so
Paul.
where'd you go for boys' night out?
I thought we were talking about something else. Oh, a friend of mine wanted to go drink alcohol. So
Oh, you don't say.
I was like, all right. And to be fair, I told you, I was like, or I could just like stay here and not do anything. I was kind of like, but I'm trying to be a good friend. And we went to.
Well, you hadn't been there to this place.
Well, I wanted to go to Nickel City, which is
Yeah.
a new, not a new bar, but a bar. Well,
It's new if you have a 8-month-old.
an 8-month-old. Our one of my favorite bars in Austin, and
Yeah.
then they opened one here, and they have a bunch of cool whiskeys and stuff like that. But anyway, we went there with a couple of my bros and hung out.
All dads.
Dad party, and the bartender, of course, was a manager that used to work for us.
Oh, I forgot to ask you about that.
I mean, we
Was
can't.
it okay?
Yeah, it was fine.
Oh, good.
And he's a really nice guy. It was, he had issues with the other manager, I think, more than anything. He was always cool with
Yeah,
me.
because we're angels.
And then he quit because I think that guy was being a dick to him.
Well, and Nickel City opened.
And Nickel City opened. But anyway, neither here nor there. But anyway, we're cool. But of course, I'm going to see someone that I know or that used to work for us.
100%.
So, so then I tipped like way too much, but I was like, whatever, it is how it is. Frozen coffee,
Yeah.
phenomenal. With whiskey, coffee.
I've been there once too.
Any
And
type
it's really
of
good.
alcohol and coffee related drinks, you boys getting it.
So because you had that, you've now sworn off alcohol.
Well, not just that, but we were there, but then it was like, oh, let's, boys night out, and then
It's never worth it.
boys night out, and then had a tequila drink of some sort,
Mm-hmm.
in a fancy glass with a little pinwheel thing. That was delicious. So shout out Nickel City, that was good. Then we went to Bearded Lady, and the bartender there was someone that I know that doesn't like me very much. And a friend of Rowdy's. I told you, yeah. But and I don't really know why.
I don't know why they. Yeah, whatever.
I know. But
Neither
anyway,
here nor there. Who cares?
Yeah, whatever. But then so we had one beer there, and we're like, all right, let's get the hell out of here. And it was a good beer. But then we went to Tarantula Tiki.
So you didn't tell me any of this stuff.
Yeah, you're finding out right now. Tiki deal. Have you been there?
No.
Oh.
Why would I go there? I can't go anywhere.
Oh my god. And it was good. It was like well, I don't want to like talk bad about them, but we went to a place in Chicago called 3 Dots and a Dash, which is like the coolest place ever, tiki bar, and it's underground and like super badass. So this was kind of like that. So had some drinks there, and then Ubered home and watched music videos till like 1 a.m. or maybe later. And the Ubers were like $50 because I guess there's no Uber drivers anywhere, so that sucked. And then we just hung over for like 36 hours and felt like a shitty parent.
Yeah.
Am I giving my kid 100% attention? As I'm hungover, and had a great time, to be clear. It was a lot of fun, but then I was just like, maybe I don't need to really drink alcohol because we don't drink at all at the house, which not that there's any problem with that. But then we'll go like hang out, have dinner with friends or something, and then drink like 9 margaritas, and then that makes up for it. So one, I lost some weight during your pregnancy, I think, just because I wasn't drinking because you weren't drinking. And then just, gained all that back from drinking beers and everything else. So anyway, that was a great time, and I haven't drank since. It's pretty much the story.
Well, that tarantula place does look pretty cool.
It was cool. We've been losing weight, though.
Yeah.
And eating healthy and not
It's
drinking.
not that exciting, but
Except for Trace Agaves Tequila, because we love Trace Agaves. Thank you for sponsoring this podcast. But
let's talk Cowboys.
okay. We just watched the Hard Knocks.
Yeah, the third episode.
Yeah. And I guess there's one more.
And I'm going to just throw this out there.
Okay. Is this a hot sports
I got
opinion? Hot sports opinion.
Is this conspiracy? If it's true, there's something wrong with Dak.
Okay.
There's some secret stuff that they got going on. They're not letting him be Dak. I think that there's something going on. So this last episode we watched last night of Hard Knocks, they featured, which was cool, and I do appreciate this gentleman, the mailman.
Yeah.
They featured the mailman.
Mailroom.
He's the fourth generation.
That was cool.
That's really cool. But they featured a mailman. And then they did this whole long drone shot, which was also really cool.
Yeah.
But, nothing of Dak playing.
Yeah.
And then they said one thing about Dak. They were like, oh, he's probably not going to play.
Yeah.
And then they were like, he's not going to play any preseason games. And then it was just oh, and then this mailman's here. So it was just what the heck?
Diversion. I see what you're saying.
It's like smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
There's some snakery going on, I think.
I completely agree. And our friend Matt Pittman hinted at this in the last episode where we mentioned Dak. Maybe something weird. He did a catering for, and he said this, but a Cowboys quarterback who won multiple Super Bowls and insider scoop, but he said that gentleman said that he thinks the same thing, that maybe there's something they're trying to hold him back because not completely healed or some sort of. So then
in the preseason game, that one dude, Danucci, which seems like if he made some pasta, I'm eating it because that's a great last name. But he's throwing interceptions.
Pizzeria sounds good.
Yes, doesn't that sound so good? He's throwing interceptions left and right, picks. And then I'm like, oh no, what's going to happen? So what about...
Yeah. What about him?
Go ahead.
He's not good.
So then yesterday... I'm just spitballing here.
Okay,
isn't that a saying?
Yeah.
Yesterday, Cam Newton gets cut, right?
Yeah, from the Patriots.
What happens if we signed him?
I think that would be a terrible idea.
How much money is he?
Not as much as you would think, because even though he was, I think he won an MVP, but definitely took his team to the Super Bowl and then played pretty poorly, but was really good. The problem with Cam is he had a really bad shoulder injury.
Yeah.
And so since that happened, his throwing hasn't really been the same. And they talked about that his last year at Carolina, because he got cut, I want to say, and no one signed him for a while, and then the Patriots signed him, but it was almost you would think other people would want him or whatever, and then I didn't watch all their film, but didn't really play that well for the Patriots. Mm-hmm. So then they signed Mac Jones, quarterback from University of Alabama. They drafted him, and he played in some preseason games. But so Cam is unvaccinated, not to get into unvaxxed talk, but and I think he was sick. He was out for a week or something.
No, cut him.
Well, seriously. So then the other guy got to play, the rookie, and it was pretty much, they were like, well, okay, he's good enough, so we'll just get rid of Cam.
So what's Cam gonna do?
I don't know.
Dude, I bet you Jerry's hey, son.
I don't know.
Hey, son.
It's just he may do that just because that's how he is.
Because there's some secretness with Dak. That's what I'm saying.
The problem with Jerry, and this is been widely reported, is I don't think he factors character into signing players. And there's a million guys that you
Well,
could
it is
use.
Jerry.
But like Greg Hardy is an example
Mhm.
of like former Ole Miss guy, but was one of the best players coming out of high school, was supposed to be great at Ole Miss, sucked, was terrible, didn't go to class. And then like beat up his girlfriend and like there was guns involved or
Yikes.
something. And then Jerry Jones was like,
Hired.
that's the guy I need
I'm going to hang my hat on his
to
shoulder.
freaking play on my team. And a lot of people were upset about it, but he played
Well,
like
Jerry's like just whatever to try and win.
yes.
But then like they don't win.
I think he is the type of guy who would literally do anything to win.
Okay.
And
Man, this is leading us into some more topics.
okay. I don't know if Dak, I mean, but this is what we talked about when we were watching it. Like all of our good players are like coaching on the sidelines during preseason,
Right.
coaching the guys who are not going to make the team.
Mhm.
Like, why?
Like, oh, we got to see.
He's like, hey man, you need to like do a spin move here. And it's like, dude, this dude's not even going to be on any team in like a week. Meanwhile, like Patrick Mahomes and all those guys are playing multiple quarters and
Getting
practicing
prepared.
but for some reason,
And then they're like, Dak can't play.
yeah. And then they had a pitch count on him during practice where he could
Mhm.
only throw so many throws.
We see what's up.
Oh
Man.
The
Just another year.
Cowboys are just, they're tricksters, you know.
Snakes in the
and
grass.
Swindlers, you could say. And Jerry, as much as I despise him from a football standpoint, the man's a genius.
It's just flying out on helicopters too. Like,
just
jeez.
wherever, just to be able to like fly your helicopter into work and leave. And then they're having meetings where it's like the coaches and stuff, and like him
He's like,
and
"Outta
Steven
here."
are in there, and you're just like, what are they providing?
I think they
without
just want to
that.
feel like included.
Yeah.
I mean, it is their money, I guess.
Yeah, they
So-
spend a ton of money.
But yeah, he'll like just like get involved just to like stir shit up just a little bit and then leave like on his
Mhm.
helicopter.
out of here. And then he had the great line where they left Steven
Yeah.
and they're like, hey, we need to fly back to get Steven on the helicopter. And he's like, yeah, no problem. Which then too, this is like another thing. This is a rich guy boss person thing
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, you could tell he like MF some people. Like,
Oh, for
he
sure.
on the show and everything, he's like, oh, no problem, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because when the helicopter guy's like, hey, we got to go back and get Steven, his initial response is, sure, no problem. Yeah, whatever. And then like a minute later when he thinks about it, he's like, why not just start the day fucking up? And you're like, oh, you see.
We laughed at that for like
dude.
5 minutes.
You see like his whole like tone change of like,
color shining
Yeah.
through.
so it's like, I guess that's my point is like, he's definitely thrown a cup of coffee at an assistant.
One hundo.
Or, said some
And
inappropriate
then they made him,
things, I'm
that
sure.
person like sign something to say, never speak of this again.
Yeah. So anyway,
Speaking of being like snakes
Yeah.
and whatnot.
yeah.
Okay, we finished Sopranos. I'm pretty sad about that because that
Yeah.
was an excellent series.
Yeah,
The
so good.
ending.
Yeah. So spoilers if you haven't watched a 25-year-old show, but
Is it only
Great.
25? Yeah.
I don't know. It's old. Great show. And then the
The
final
end.
episode, how did you feel?
Like it was like still a cliffhanger. Like what was going to happen?
I think, and Paul, maybe you can chime in on this because he was telling us about it. You basically, spoiler, you go, there's so much going on. He's fighting with like 20 different people. There's all this stuff.
Yeah.
He's got this kid who's just an absolute idiot. And then the girl is like doing well, but she's got her own problems. They go to some diner and then they all like are sitting down waiting. They're playing, what song? They're playing some song that's like,
I can't remember the song, but it was very just everything that was going on was very like ominous.
Yes.
Like, and something was gonna
Everything.
happen. Like, it was like
There was like
Meadows trying to
three or-
park.
Yeah, there were three. I thought something was gonna happen to Meadow when
Me
she walked
too.
across the street. I was like, no, she's gonna get hit.
Me
Yeah.
too.
There's a lot of weird
And then there was
stuff.
like 3 guys that kept like looking back at Tony, like, are they about to pull a gun or a
The guy
knife?
that walked to the bathroom in the leather jacket.
Right. That
Right.
creepy guy at the bar I was
He's
going to
like,
say.
kept looking.
I think that I read an article and I was telling you guys that the writer said I wanted to ruin everyone's life.
Well, he did.
I
I'm
did.
so sad about it.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah,
But why?
But you know, when I watch,
But how could you really bring that to a close if it was the last episode
You
last
can't.
season? There were so many things happening.
could
People in
try.
prison.
it could have still been going, and I would have
Like,
watched
you
it
could
still.
have tried.
I'd still be watching now if he was still alive and everything was
I
going on.
know. I'm sad that he actually like literally passed away. in
Well, you
real
know they're
life.
making them the Saints of Newark,
Mhm.
Right.
the movie.
prequel,
Prequel.
or
Prequel
whatever,
movie, yeah.
I cannot wait for
Man.
that.
So left wanting, but I guess that's my point.
Yeah,
Is like
left
you
wanting.
watch 6 seasons or whatever it was of a show, and then at the end they're just like, you figure it out. Like, you know,
It's like art. Art is
I
your
don't know.
interpretation.
It feels like a cop out, but that's kind of like Game of Thrones was like the guy hasn't written the last book yet, and they were just like, well, we got to put something together, and they screwed that up. So,
Yeah.
has there ever been a show finale where you like felt good about it? Because they
Mhm.
said like Lost was the same way.
I'm not trying to
House.
watch.
House. I don't know if I watched
Wasn't,
House.
Dude, House
Yeah.
was amazing.
Ending was good.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole thing was amazing.
It's on TV all the time. I never
House?
watched it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got to watch it. It's I mean, he's
It's the
like
doctor guy.
He's
Yeah,
like an
but he's
addict.
like- yeah, but he's like the perfect combination of like brilliant, funny, and just the biggest
Oh.
asshole ever.
I gotta watch
Okay, I
that.
might need to watch.
And such
hey,
a
we need
smart
a new
ass. He
show.
actually like how much of a smart ass he is reminds me of you, Travis.
Damn,
Perfect.
I'm okay. I'll watch
You're
it.
gonna really like it because
Oh,
you're
man.
gonna. He's so mean to people, but it's so great. Like it just makes me laugh because I'm like, oh, I want to be that.
I want to be that too.
Yeah, we
Oh.
might share similar management
I'm gonna look
styles.
that up. So we finished Sopranos,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Damn, what do we watch now? I want something that's like, catch attention grabbing twists, turns."
Sure.
So then we basically
Suspense.
just went to the mafia of America in the mountains,
Yeah.
which is now Yellowstone.
Yellowstone. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
A lot of death, murders, blood. Not too much druggins.
Oh, well, a little bit
A
of
little
drugs.
bit of drugs, yeah.
Not as much nudity as Sopranos,
Oh, how
unfortunately.
hard for you.
I know it's pretty terrible,
Must
but
suck.
it's great.
It's
and
really
I
good,
like-
but like gets you going. Like, ooh.
Dude, we were talking about that because this is our thing. Everything's on a schedule, and so we, give Izzy dinner, then a bath, and then put her down, and then it's showtime, and then we
Mhm.
have time for like an hour or two before we need
Like,
to fall asleep to watch shows. So we have almost finished Yellowstone. We're down to
we have one more
but,
episode. I'm so sad.
it's good. It's like, but somebody said it's the same guys that did Sons of Anarchy, so it's kind of like a cowboy Sons of Anarchy, cowboy
Okay.
Sopranos, if you will.
I really like it.
Yeah,
And there's another, so there's 3 seasons and there's supposed to be a 4th.
yes, coming this fall.
And
I
then
believe.
in Fort Worth,
yeah,
our wonderful, beautiful city of Fort Worth, in the stockyards, they're
Mhm.
doing the prequel, Why 1883.
yeah,
And they literally made, the stockyards looks like super old and awesome, cowboyish anyway. And then they like brought in dirt for the
Yeah.
roads, and they're like filming for the next 3 weeks, I think.
so it looks like
It looks so old.
1800s. Yeah,
So
really
cool.
cool. And then I applied to be an extra on that. I don't
You
know
did?
if I told you, but
Wow, thanks
our
for sharing.
Our friend apparently is going to be, but then
Yeah, Hot Rod.
Hot Rod. I saw him at Whole Foods.
No, he's
Or,
on that Trader Joe's,
Trader Joe's.
TJ's.
The Sam Elliott is going to be in it, and
Okay.
then Tim McGraw and Faith Hill apparently
Ooh,
are
I
in it.
love Tim McGraw.
But it's like the great grandfather of
Yeah.
Kevin Costner's character, and
I don't know though.
whatever.
Are you gonna be like? I just have really high expectations for it. So just because I love like actual Yellowstone so much,
I'm sure
like,
it'll be
this better
good.
be bomb.com for me to be all
Well, they're filming
excited.
it at the 4-6's ranch, or part of it, which is cool. The old lady I used to work for, his family stole that from the Indians hundreds of years ago, but
What do you
that's
think
neither
about,
here nor there.
What do you think about some of the characters?
Well, and I don't want to give spoilers, so, fast forward like 5 minutes or whatever. It's like there's a couple of the characters, and I won't say, I guess, specifically, but like, you're like, this is a show about ranching, right? And like living out in Montana. And by the third episode, there's like 20 people that have been murdered.
Yeah, you're like, what?
Wait, what?
I think like Tony's here.
Yeah, it's like, I thought this was like,
But then they're just like, we got to cover this up and drop this body over this cliff real quick. And no one knows about it.
And then there's 70 bodies at the bottom of this cliff from all the people that they've
It's pretty wild.
had to deal with.
But I'm talking about like barbecue world. We need a rip, man.
Dude, for sure.
If you haven't seen the show,
I need a rip.
first of all, yeah, we need a rip. He's just like, Rip, go do this, and Rip just will murder people for you. Do it, just sell a cow for you. Do whatever you need.
We're not condoning, to be clear,
No,
but you appreciate that type of loyalty.
The loyalty
in an employee
of a Rip. That's a good name too, Rip.
Rip. What was I gonna say?
Beth.
Oh, the one thing that I thought was cool, or I don't know if it's cool if I should say that, but they they get branded. Like,
yeah, Trav's like, we should do that to the podcast guy, or the podcast to the smokehouse guys. So like, get like a Heim.
like voluntarily. I mean, it's just, but you have to be committed if you want to be in the smokehouse. It's like, it's not just for
You gotta earn
any idiot. You gotta
earn your brand.
You gotta earn your respect. Yeah, and that live up to the brand, right? That's what they said.
Yeah.
Because they'll freaking brand the hell out of these guys that are like criminals, and then they have to
It's
work
because
there.
they're like, they've like, put in some murder in, and then
Yeah.
like they can't tell what happens on the Yellowstone
Right.
to outsiders. So once you're in, you're in.
You're
Walker.
Blood in, blood out. Yeah, Walker, Ryan Bingham,
Mm-hmm.
played by the great Ryan Bingham, who I think is playing Billy Bob soon. I'm
Oh,
pretty sure.
really? Ooh. Let's take him a brisket.
He's awesome though. Love his
Before Meat
music.
Church does. I called it Meat Church.
Matt's like doing everybody.
Matt's like on text to text basis with these people.
Yeah, it's like doing yoga with Luke Bryan this weekend probably or something.
Man.
yeah, he gets
Anyway,
all-
I'm bummed. It's going to end.
It's a great show. We
Season
have one
3.
episode left, but it is intense, dude. We've talked about this where like, the other night it was like, okay, one more episode and then we'll go to bed. And it's like 11:45 and we're like standing up in bed, like just adrenaline, just riled up, dude, juiced up.
I
Like
know.
this is like
It's
so
like I'm
intense.
probably about to go ride a horse right now.
I mean, I want to make it clear I am still anti-horse because they're violent animals, but there is something cool about the show where it's like the beauty of, they're like herding cattle.
They're
and all
loyal
sorts
AF,
of cool
man.
stuff, and
Those horses.
yeah, some of them. So great. That was Yellowstone.
Now
Talk.
we need show recommendations. I guess House we could look into.
House we should
Anything else that
definitely
you
check
guys are thinking that Emma and Travis should definitely watch? Let us know, because we do have the sacred couple of hours after bedtime with Izzy that we're like, all right,
Hit us up.
let's watch something.
I mean, we're big Ted Lasso. We're on that
Yeah.
weekly. That's a great. I'll say that forever. That's great. So that was Yellowstone Talk. Something interesting happened, and this was about a week ago because we've been behind with Matt's deal, but there was an incident between a couple restaurants here locally,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to get your take on it because it was pretty interesting to me, and I bet you can guess how I feel about it. But for some reason, the comments on Facebook were not in line with my beliefs. So anyway,
Okay. Well, Facebook. Huh?
so I don't even know how to set this up. So there was a post on North Texas Barbecue Addicts, which is just
Always
a
wonderful.
phenomenal Facebook group of expert barbecue cooks who all could run very successful restaurants, I'm sure. But this guy said, let's talk about barbecue ethics real quick because I'm on fire capital letters just hearing about this. My friend for many years, whose family owns Mike's Real Pit Barbecue in Grand Prairie, was fulfilling a to-go order for, in parentheses, all of the stuffed barbecue potatoes they had. So that's like a loaded baked potato with like brisket, I think,
Delicious.
and cheese and all. Yeah, I'm sure delicious. Shout out Mike's Real Pit Barbecue. She then posted on her Facebook letting her customers know they were sold out of stuffed potatoes. Again, someone calls, I need all your potatoes. Okay.
Yeah.
I would like hang up probably. This isn't real. So she's like, no problem. So sold them. Were sold out, told all their customers. Then the twist. When the to-go customer arrived and took possession of the stuffed potatoes, she learned that they were purchased by Gordo's Barbecue, a rival barbecue restaurant in the same town, and that they had not prepared enough potatoes for the day. So this is just some random employee, I think, which, is like he got thrown in the middle of it. So he was sent to buy Mike's Real Pit Barbecue potatoes, which they were using right then for their own large to-go order. Hilarious. Excuse me. So this rival restaurant not only put her out of one of her most popular dishes on a weekend, but also sold them as their own. What say you? Have I lost my marbles in being upset for Morgan's family? My understanding is they did not get permission or tell her what the order was for until they got there. They acted like another paying to-go customer.
You know what?
Is this
It's happened to us.
okay? Multiple times.
Yeah.
But specifically,
It
this
happens.
time.
I mean, I'm sure it happens to a lot of places. I mean, it's totally uncool for sure, because you would just be like, why don't you just come to me for catering?
So early on at Magnolia.
Yeah. When I was GMing full time at Magnolia, we just had one store. This guy comes in a red apron, and it's like maybe 20 minutes before 11, so we hadn't opened yet. And he's like got this piece of paper, and it's like an order for Heim. And I'm like, oh, you're like really prepared or whatever.
Great,
but
yeah.
then I was also like, why are you in an apron? And then come to find out that his client had requested Heim barbecue. So like he just came and like bought it, and then I guess was like upcharging our food to this client.
Right.
And I let him know that
They
he
wanted-
wasn't welcome back ever again.
They wanted
I took his
bacon
money though that
burn-ins.
day.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they got bacon burn-ins, and I want to say they got another protein. But yeah, I was like, you're not welcome back.
but that's the line though. You still like took the money and
Well,
we
yeah.
made a sale. So
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm
I
open
think
to
so.
sales.
That's where it's like, it's a weird thing. And
He's like, they wanted Heim.
They said rival barbecue, so I wonder if they've like had some issue in the past or
Probably.
something.
If you listen to our True Hollywood, True Barbecue Stories series or episode 2 episodes ago, 13, I think. I mean, there's always rivalries, I think, that aren't always displayed.
It's just such a stupid, weird industry with all the
It's pretty funny though.
talk behind your back and everything else. I despise it, that part of it, but really interesting. So I'm on the side of like, I think it's shitty that they did it and then
Mhm.
resold it,
Yeah.
but they also like, you sold out of all of the potatoes you made immediately. So that's a positive, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing where it's weird because some people are like, oh my God, they should be
You're
like
gonna
in prison.
If
And
you say let's just say it's $500
yeah.
to sell them all to this one person so
Right.
that they can resell them, which is kind of sucky, or you're just going to sell them throughout the day and make
Right.
$500. So what's the issue is, and this is what it's like plagiarism, like
Right.
taking someone's essay in college or book or whatever. Like if you're going to say it's your own
Right.
and sell it that way, which we also have had people try to do for like their openings of like bars and stuff, like, oh, we cook this barbecue, and like not have our staff there set up serving or whatever,
Or tell anyone it
or
was
being
from
like
us.
Heim Barbecue's going to be set up for buffet. And we've had to like crack some skulls on that, as Eric Miner would say, crack some skulls. But to do that is shady. To be like, we got Heim, we
That-
get it.
That's the part that bugs me is that and this is all alleged, but if they were reselling it as like, this is their stuff, it's one thing if it's like a freaking potato with like cheese, but apparently their potato, it's like brisket and all that stuff.
Like it's
so
their one of their signature things.
So anyway, but we've had people open with our exact menu of sides and meats and everything else. So it's like, again, there's not like
there's always going to be the same sides
industry.
in Texas barbecue. That's just how it goes. I mean, it's beans, potato salad, mac and cheese, green beans, whatever, greens, but it's how you do it that like on our potato salad, I've always said this from day one. Not everybody likes a mayo base. Not everybody likes a straight mayonnaise base. Mustard base, excuse me. And so the way we did it was a compromise between where it's kind of like it reaches more people, a sour cream base, a loaded baked potato, twice baked, delicious. And so it's like, obviously, if other people are doing it, we are aware of it.
And now everyone does that.
But hey, it's good. I get it.
Whatever. But I mean, that's just how it is too. Like that seems a little bit different. Like one person does elotes and then 20 different places do elotes.
Right.
One person
I'm
does
not doing
Brussels
elotes.
sprouts and all. Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't really work with.
Well,
with
we can't.
our thing, but, So anyway, I thought that was interesting. The main comment, which I guess I don't need to read, but I thought was interesting, was basically someone saying like the seller of the potatoes should just suck it up and like take the high road and be like, it's a compliment that someone is using your food, and that got like 30 likes on.
Does that person own a restaurant?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
So that's the thing where that was
lies.
interesting to me, though, because it seemed like the majority of people were kind of just like, hey, what's the big deal? And I don't know, maybe it's not a big deal, but to me, to just like
for all these people know, they could have been doing this for years and they just now figured it out.
Seriously, yeah. But like we
what?
just buy, I don't know, like slow bone food and then
I would buy their fried chicken and resell it. It's so good.
We're doing an event or a couple of events with Slow Bone coming up, and hopefully they'll do their chicken because that's like so good.
Best.
So anyway, potato fiasco. We've had that multiple times before, and it is what it is. But we didn't complain about it. But also, there's a lot of people complaining online. I don't know if I should say this.
When are you just now realizing this?
No, I mean like barbecue owners complaining. I don't know.
Right.
It's an abnormal amount, and we've all been through like the worst year of our lives, and I understand it, but it's like it's interesting to me of like people just, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't even say anything, but just like bitching about whatever.
When you're in a consumer industry where like people buy your product, not everyone is gonna like it,
right?
And that is just the bottom line in any type of thing. It could be you're trying to sell clothes, you're trying to sell alcohol, you're trying to sell food, like you're trying to sell a horse or whatever. Maybe not everyone is going to like what you've created and what you think is good. A lot of people do. A lot of people enjoy it. But I don't understand why there's such a pill to swallow with that. Because, I mean, us as humans, we don't like every single thing at every single restaurant.
Yeah.
Am I going to leave a review? Hell no.
Absolutely not.
I don't have the time to go and give somebody a 1 star. Will I go back? Probably not, but you're not going to hear me like talking about it.
No.
But as ownership and in the position that we are in, it's going to happen. Yeah. I get messages. I get 1 stars at 11:45 at night when I'm riled up watching Yellowstone, but that's just how it goes.
And I think it's like, part of it, I think, is it's just a part of your growing up as a restaurant owner.
100%.
And I don't mean that in a like we have been doing it forever and we know what we're doing. I literally mean like everyone that I've ever seen, if you open a food truck or a restaurant, like the first year or so, it's like, we got a 1-star review. Someone was mean to us. Like, this is the end of my life. And then you reach a point where you realize like, oh, there are like certain people who write Yelp reviews and do things like that. And the majority of the time, it's not as big a deal as it is. Like you'll get a 1-star review for the most mundane, crazy thing, or someone, we've got some with because of the mask where they assume that the cashier said something that they didn't say, but it's because there's a mask on and there's all sorts of like just crazy but that person was like anti-mask and all that, you know. So anyway, and I don't know, I just popped into my head because there's like, and two, there's a thing on Twitter, like, you know, Twitter, social media, all that is the worst. But somebody said something the other day and it was like, and tagged us in another place, and I couldn't tell if they were making fun of us or the other place. So like,
Why spin brain
strangely worded.
matter
So
on it?
I didn't even say anything. I was just like, whatever. But then the other place did like a weird gif of like, you know, like they're
what?
mad or whatever.
Oh, I
and
don't
then
know,
it
man.
made it into a big deal. But the other thing too
Dude,
is
I
like,
get it. People aren't gonna like everything.
no, I think that's something too that we've tried to really focus on and you know, it hurts us, I think, with like critics and food media, but even our perspective of restaurants has changed since having a kid.
This episode is brought to you by Trace Agaves Tequila, 100% USDA certified organic tequila.
Delicious tequila, some of our favorite. They got the añejo, they got the blanco, they got the reposado. Tequila made in tequila, slow roasted for approximately 20 hours, almost like delicious brisket, you may say. Trace Agaves, awesome stuff. Thanks for sponsoring Heim Time Podcast. You might want to check out their organic margarita mix. They also have a strawberry margarita mix. No high fructose corn syrup if you're trying to watch the weight like myself. Maybe just a little ranch water, just some tequila over ice. Delicious stuff. Like Emma said, 100% certified organic. Awesome tequila. Thank you, Trace Agaves. Drink some responsibly.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You're like, when we started in the food truck to now, let's just use ourselves as an example. Open 2 days a week, 3 days a week. We're open for like an hour and a half or 2 hours, and you have to stand in line for 3 hours and do all this. It's not a good business model. And people who are diehard barbecue guys, the North Texas barbecue addicts, are guys who are going to be like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm in. I'll waste 5 hours to go stand in line and do all this. And it's cool and all that, blah, blah, blah. And so, you know, again, like when we started, we had to do that. We had $0. A lot of places are like that. But now as we've grown and looking at new stores and, you know, all the stuff we have going on, we're like, okay, how can we do all of the things that are great, that people love, make really good barbecue sides, all of the non-barbecue menu items we have. We have a full bar, liquor license, all that stuff. That wasn't common really, you know, in barbecue. And then we're in a building where you can come and sit and you don't have to like wait forever and you can do. So I guess my point is like a lot of times too, it's like, I don't know if everyone thinks about, you know, what's your like demographic? What are people like? The majority of people don't have 5 hours to stand in line or don't want to and all that.
Yeah.
So like we've tried to be more family friendly, family focused, inclusive in general. This isn't just a barbecue thing, and I'm not pointing any fingers, but food media and stuff like Michelin stars, all that. It's generally like the most exclusive.
Right.
Is the
There's no
cooler.
Izzy's sitting in a Michelin star restaurant.
I mean, we went to a restaurant. You went to a restaurant recently, and they were like, "You brought your baby
Locally
Like,
during lunch too.
disgusted.
Wasn't even. I literally said, she goes, "You should have said on the reservations." A host lady,
Yeah.
you should have said on the reservations that you were gonna have a stroller, and it's not a stroller; it's her like carrier, but it's the Duna with the wheels. Which,
Right.
if you're mom or dad, and you have a little one, Dunas are the way to go.
Worth every penny.
Worth
Yeah.
every penny. But anyway, she was like, you should have put in the notes section on the reservation that you were going to bring a carrier and a child. And I was like, I literally like looked at her and I go, she's a part of me. What am I supposed to do? Just like
let me
leave her
just
in the
throw
car.
Her outside real quick. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
So it's kind of an interesting thing. But yeah, I mean, if we go out, I mean, we probably have a tops an hour and a half to like get in with, if we have Izzy, get in, because, you know, she's going to have to eat again. She's going to need diaper change. She's going to start
Right.
wanting a nap. And so, yeah, that's something that we've been thinking about now that, you know, we can go out a little bit more with her and we're getting used to everything.
Right.
that's what we're thinking about when we're picking a restaurant that we're going to spend our money at, is how can this work for our child?
If she does like scream, are we going to annoy other people?
Yeah, so
like you can't go to like a
there's certain
white
restaurants.
tablecloth.
Yeah, it's certain restaurants we go to now where we'll like request like what we want to sit in this corner. We want to, you know, all of these things just so that we can kind of like
You don't wanna
have
bother
an
other
area and
people.
wrangler. But no, I get what you're saying. It is. I mean, it does change your perspective, and I think
Perspective.
now that we have Izzy, and I mean, we did a great job with River and family oriented, but I think like moving forward, creating new spaces will be with children in mind. And that doesn't mean that if you don't have a child, you can't come. It's just like an extra perk for families.
Yeah, well, and when we were in Austin, every place we went to didn't have a changing table.
Okay,
And
100%.
you just think about how important that is for people that have kids and stuff. So I don't know. I got off on a tangent.
Well, we did go to I wanted to talk about Austin because that was a really cool trip and we got to do some cool stuff. But we went to Clark's Oyster Bar, and like also our pro thing is like going at like 4 with Izzy because it's like after her late nap, and then or maybe right in the middle of her nap if she falls asleep would be dope. But
usually not busy.
Clark's,
if you
you haven't been to Clark's, it's very small, but it's freaking delicious and it's really cool. And they have like an open like seafood counter where you can pick what you want and all this stuff. And so I was a little bit anxious taking Izzy, but like they were so cool about it. And that's what I'm like, that's how people should be. Like we know this place isn't probably traditionally for an 8-month-old, but you know what? A lot of people have 8-month-olds and 8-month-olds. And they just can't go to your restaurant. So
and we dropped a ton of money there too.
Well, we
so
did,
that was great
but it was
for
cool.
them.
Like they were all like, "Hey, good to welcoming, warm."
I always like get off on a tangent, but I think that's my thought is like everything in the world 2021 is like be more inclusive, and we've really tried to do that with the restaurants and all that, and like. There's not a lot of places open 7 days a week. There's not a lot of places open 4 days a week.
Yeah.
Like 7 days a week and all this stuff and, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, everything. So I think perspective is a great way to put it. Like that's really changed for me and, all that. Not everyone's going to get it. Not like people want to compare us to like a Franklin or something else. And you're like, well, by comparison what is your thing? Like for us, it's like, we just want to make really great restaurants that people can enjoy. You and I, let's say if for some crazy reason we're able to go on a date, we could go on a date and have some food, drinks, have a good time, or we could go as a family. You could do all that. But it's hard to do that in the other, but then I guess back to my original point is like, oh my God, barbecue's so hard and all that. It's not. You're not a doctor. You're not a nurse. You're not like a brain surgeon. Am I being like too much of a jerk? It's not that hard. There are people that have real jobs that have been affected by Corona and everything else that are like firefighters, police putting their life on the line.
No, I see what you're saying.
And I don't see them writing 9-paragraph Facebook post about how terrible their job was today that someone, gave them a 1-star review. So anyway.
Okay, so
sorry.
North Texas barbecue addicts.
No, I mean, that was just that potato thing. They've said some shit about us in the past, but then we've also heard a lot of good things too. I think it's just, that's the thing about barbecue. And this is like a Texan line, but every male in Texas thinks they can cook barbecue and coach football. And that's like a, funny
It's
line,
a thing.
But, speaking of Yelp reviews, just since that popped into my head, one of my favorite comedians, Tim Dillon, on his podcast this week, they had someone sent them Lori Lightfoot, who is the mayor of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen her? They sent them her Yelp page, and it was awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Someone had figured out before she was the mayor that she had posted all these Yelp
Once it's out there, it never goes away.
And I won't tell the whole story. It was really funny, but basically she gave someone a 1-star review, and it was for like a limo company that was taking them to some sort of event, and it was just like, and then the limo company wrote back, which was the best part of like, everything you've said here is a lie, basically. And we have proof. We have video proof. We have all this. You were mean to the driver, where she said that the driver did this. So my point.
That speaks to her character then.
Well, you could say that.
Ooh.
And, you know, a lot of people, that's neither here nor there, but it was really funny, his take on it.
I was hoping you were going to say it was like a 1-star McDonald's or something.
No.
Those are always the best.
But she said, like, she starts it off with, like, we had a party and her and her wife were going to somewhere and there was a male driver, right?
Uh-huh.
And there seems to be an issue with this. And then he asked to go to the restroom and then pissed all over the toilet seat. And then blah, 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 and then blah, blah, blah. And in the response from the company, they're like, we have video proof. He never left the car. Like he didn't
Why would she make that up?
Great question.
Mm.
He never even got out of the car to do anything at any point. And then there was it was a whole thing. But basically, so they were like, from the first thing you said, we know that you're lying. And then the rest of this is whatever. So all I want to ask is it ever okay to Yelp?
No.
Okay.
But like,
Glad we're on the same page.
But if someone's like that, like charged to blatantly lie like that, then how do you know anything on Yelp is real?
Well, they also said like her credit card was declined multiple times.
Okay.
And they
So she was
let her
embarrassed.
use another credit card, but she doesn't mention that at all. She doesn't mention like
that they
a
like
lot
tried
of
to
the
work with
stuff.
her and like make it better for her.
Yeah. And she accused the driver of misogyny and homophobia, I think, because she has a wife, but it was like, I don't know. There, and you know, I'm sure there's whatever, 3 sides to every story or whatever the hell they say, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. But it was really funny. And then we talked about this a little when I did Jake and TC's podcast, because I think TC writes positive Yelp reviews. But it's like,
It's nice.
I guess though, is it?
No,
really,
I don't have the time.
So to me,
I've never written a Yelp.
I did in the past, because when it was like early on, like this is like 10 years ago.
think
and
I
was
did
like, oh, this is really cool.
For my friend that worked at a like spa in LA.
Yeah.
So again, never been there, but I wrote a Yelp. So there you go.
And I'm sure, you know, I'm sure I know I wrote some in the past, because that was like early and you're like, oh, this is so cool.
Like
And
it
then
did
you
used to be
realize,
cool.
you know, whatever. But even if you're writing like positive, like you spend like 9 paragraphs writing some positive thing, it's
Yeah.
like, does anyone care about your opinion? This is the thing to me. And I know I'm getting a little off the rails, but it's like, in my opinion, and I am a restaurant owner, so I am directly impacted, one could say, by these reviews. To me, you come to one of our restaurants and you have a great time. I don't want you to write a review at all. I would rather you not. I would rather you go to 3 or 4 of your closest friends and say, I really enjoyed this restaurant. You should go there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And if you have a negative, you know, thing where we had a heartbroken foodie
Yeah.
emailed
This week.
the other day where she complained about perfectly cooked brisket from what it looked like from the photos. It like, if there's a negative, we've done this before. We'll tell the waiter or we'll tell the manager in the moment, hey, just so you know, this was like a little cold, or this was, you know, whatever, some sort of thing.
Or like won't even say anything.
Or we'll just begrudgingly pay and like pay 20% tip and just leave and be like, well, we're not going there again. But I won't tell anybody if it's a bet, you know, unless it's like made us sick or something like that, which we have had. But even then, I didn't write a review or do anything. So I don't know. I just thought that was funny, because I think too, specifically like that in that whole episode, which was hilarious, is just talking about what causes someone to write a Yelp review, and like how is it used.
I think it's like, it goes back to like Danny Meyer setting the table. He's like, people just want to be heard.
Yes.
People want to be heard. And so one of the first things when I get a complaint email or a message or something on social, I'm like, I'm so sorry to hear this. Thank you for letting me know. Did you happen to reach out to the manager on duty during
While you're
your
there.
visit?"
Yeah.
And then 99.9% of the time, they're like, "No." And they just like, they left. And then it's like something in their heads just ticking, bothering them. Like, I should have said something, or I've been waiting to leave so I could like message them or something. It's something about just that, like, human nature. I want to be heard. I want to tell someone about this experience. And then I'll be like, "Wow, I'm so sorry. I wish you would have reached out to the manager. We could have corrected this on the
Right.
spot." And then still, if they're like, "Well, I didn't," then I'm like, "Let me send you a gift card. We'd love
Right.
to have you back in or whatever. Don't try this just because you want a gift card."
Right. I know.
Because I'll probably send you one.
We've had people
But-
do that, but
But it's kind of it's just people want to be heard. It's
Yes.
the same as like, as soon as you get some type of gossip or something, you're like, "Ooh, who am I going to tell?" It's like we share a lot of things with each other, but it's like, you can't tell everybody everything, but
99% of issues, complaints, anything like that are people just want to be heard.
Yep.
They feel like they've been slighted
Mhm.
in some way. I'm being mistreated or treated differently
Right.
than someone else
Mhm.
is almost every single time, down to the cashier said was
Right.
mean to me or something, some like whatever, like random, or, this guy got more food than I did, or what, some like random thing.
my
but-
only thing with Yelp, and like, gosh, I can't even tell you the last time I've read Yelp for Heim, which probably isn't good, but
I haven't either.
the only thing that I really take to heart on Yelp or any type of reviews is like if it's the same complaint over and over
Right.
again. So if someone is like, "The ribs were undercooked, the ribs were undercooked, the ribs were undercooked," and it's like 5 of the same reviews from different people on different days, then we know, okay, we
Right.
need to check in and make sure our cooks are pulling, wrapping, doing all the stuff at the right time, and blah, blah, blah. But like, other than that, people are nuts. So you can't take
But also,
it to heart.
for that example, I'm firing someone.
Well, yeah,
Because
exactly.
my
That
point-
means you got to look.
Well, my point would be that's something that we should catch. That's not
Well,
something
100%. But you know
that-
what I'm saying?
I mean, I guess.
Or it could
but
be
I'm
like
just
the
saying, that's
restroom.
like
The restroom needed to be mopped or something. It's,
someone's fired.
Yeah.
Again, my point. It's not we've
we
talked
don't
about
look
this
on
a
Yelp
lot.
for our solutions, I guess is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah. No,
If
100%.
everyone is up to our standard. But this was the thing the other day. We went to Magnolia, no disrespect. The patio looked like shit.
Yeah.
It's like weeds and stuff and
It
like
did.
things falling apart. And we were like, what the hell? And it was ridiculous.
It's much
So
better now.
you would think someone would notice that, but those are the type of things that get missed, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, enough of the Yelp talk. but
I got some stuff to talk about real quick.
let's do it.
So for my entire life, like, I'm not even playing. I obviously don't remember the first time I tried an egg, but I'm like the Guy Fieri. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
He
Guy
doesn't eat
Fieri.
eggs. I don't eat eggs. it's a bugaboo. It's my main bugaboo of food.
Right.
Um,
Not a big egg fan.
because not
Nope.
that I don't dislike them, but it like just doesn't settle well with me.
Stomach problems.
So like one of the first things you're supposed to introduce to a child when they start solids is eggs, because it's an allergen, and so you need to see like, are they allergic, and then you just kind of like watch them to see if they start developing
hope
hives,
nothing
and you're just like,
happens.
this is the worst day of my life. So because I have these egg issues, which like my brother's daughter,
Yeah.
Olive, she also doesn't settle well with her.
Right.
And then my grandmother, so my mom's mom, so like I just don't partake. And so I was pretty nervous at the 6-month check. They were like, you got to introduce your kid to egg.
Mhm.
The doctor, pediatrician, and I was just like, this is like, I was like,
This is
Travis,
my worst nightmare.
you got to be home, because I'm freaking out, because like it just doesn't feel good for me. And so I was 50% chance maybe my daughter would also have those issues. Well, Travis is like, maybe we should try egg whites with you,
Right.
and then like Izzy, we just got to try the whole egg
Yeah.
to see. And I did. I've eaten egg whites like 3 days in a row, and I've had no issues.
Incredible.
Anyway,
I'm
I just
really
had to
happy
share
for you.
that for you guys.
I'm really happy.
But Izzy's also been fine, which is good, because I was
Yeah.
super anxious about it, and she's been loving them.
But
But you don't have an issue with them.
no, I've never had any issues. But yeah, it was always funny. Like for Christmas or something, my mom would make like a quiche.
No.
And you're just like, oh no, it's like terrible.
Well, like growing up, spending the night at friends' house, the parents would be like, "Yo, come on out. We got like footballs on," and made a whole breakfast, and be like eggs. And I'm like, I don't eat eggs. But my mom was like, I don't remember you having huge issues with them growing up. But I remember going on road trips like with my grandpa. And for some reason, like we lived in California and we'd go to Mammoth Mountain and go skiing. They had a townhouse there. And for some reason, this one road trip, I remember being like, I want this omelet. And I don't eat
Terrible
eggs. And then
idea.
my grandpa was like mad at me because I didn't eat the omelet. And I still remember that. But I just remember being like, wait, I don't eat this. Anyway,
Congrats.
it's a big deal for me, but also it's looking good for Iz. So
There's a lot of stuff that I don't necessarily like. You really are like, you didn't like eggs, which now I guess your egg whites are okay. And then coconut. You don't like coconut, which
and
I
wet peanut butter.
love coconut. Coconut
can
and
kick
wet
rocks.
peanut butter sounds delicious.
You know what? A pina colada or something like that
Oh,
is
yeah.
good, obviously, especially if it's out of a pineapple for $12 extra
Sure.
on an island. But yeah, I'm not eating like those little like shaved pieces of coconut or like the thing
What
that you brought back the
about,
other day from Whole Foods was just
Yeah, hell
disgusting.
yeah.
Just chunks of coconut. I was like, get this out of the fridge.
It's delicious. Cocoa shrimp though, we've talked about
No.
that. But you get the garlic.
Oh, you mean the restaurant?
Yes.
Yeah.
You
They got like a garlic lemon or something.
Yeah, so you don't even do the
No.
fried coconut.
Ugh.
Oh, I love it.
It's just
I
for
eat
me, it's a
coconut every day.
textural thing. But anyway, so yeah, Iz is venturing into
Congrats.
food. Terrifying but good. She likes those little puffs.
Puffs are good. She ate the price tag of an item.
A pair of
by
socks.
my baby the other day. Where I was like,
We're really doing
"Here,
great, guys.
Here, hold this." And then I looked down and she's just like eating half of the price tag.
The lady had to like look up the item through the
Okay.
computer.
Sorry about that.
That was you. That was all you.
Okay. We're pointing fingers now.
I gave them to her, but you didn't take them away.
What
I wanted to talk about Austin because we got to go see the Mill Scale Boys.
right?
Which
we got
was
a
really
sick
fun.
grill from them.
Yeah.
I'm wearing their shirt. That's why I
Oh,
wore
yeah.
this shirt. Boom, boom. And then I wore this at Central Market the other day. And first, one guy stopped me. I didn't tell you this, but he was like, "Hey, man, you weld?" And I was like, "Yeah, all the time." Like, just being annoying.
Facetious.
And he was like, "Oh, I'm trying to get into it. Do you know where I can buy an anvil?" Literally, Central Market employee. Do you know where I can buy an anvil?
Amazon.com.
It's like, I don't know, man. I'm, sorry about that. And then we had a conversation for longer than I wanted. And then I went and I got burgers because they have those good burger patties that we did. We did burger bowls, burger salads, which sounds, it's as sad as it sounds. And then the butcher guy was like, "You still weld? You still weld?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude. Yeah."
I think I know which one you're talking
old
about. The
guy,
old guy.
yeah.
Yeah, he's really nice though.
And I've talked to him 1,000 times.
Yeah.
But I guess he's like, "Oh yeah,
You
the
still
guy,
welding?
The guy that's
What'd you
the
say?
welder."
You said yeah.
Yeah, I just said yeah. I go, "Yeah, mainly like part time," but
Oh my god.
and then I walked off. But anyway, so that's don't wear this shirt around
You
because
still welding?
people don't know that it's a barbecue pits. But what the hell were we talking about?
Austin. So we went.
yeah.
We went to. It was to pick up that grill, Santa Maria wood fire grill, which is beautiful. But then we went to like the hills country, or
Yeah,
whatever.
kind of Barton Creek
Barton Creek.
area. Yeah.
So this was the week that all the kiddos went back to school. So we
Brilliant.
pretty much just were there alone because there was like no kids. Like Izzy had the
I don't know if anyone else was there.
whole kid pool to herself. Like it was perfect. Anyway, that's a pro tip because if you're gonna go out there, go the week of school,
They
going back into
upgraded-
sesh.
Upgraded us to the penthouse, basically best room in the whole place, and then our door didn't shut,
Yeah, I didn't.
and then we told the lady at the front desk, and I don't either didn't understand or
She was like,
didn't.
"Do you want us to move us?" I was like, "No, because this is the best room. Where are we gonna
Yeah,
go?"
so
I'm just
that was a
kidding.
little bit weird, but other than that, I had a great time. But yeah, that I think, and I guess once Izzy starts school, we can't do it. But
Yeah.
booking a trip the first week of school, getting back is genius.
Yeah, it was good.
But there was also no one there. Like some of the restaurants were closed and stuff.
That's
so
true. They
sucked,
didn't open
but-
until like Thursday, and we went Tuesday.
And we didn't really go. I had a bunch of places that I wanted to go to eat, but we didn't go to any of them. We just went to Clark's. We went to a cool hippie baby shop where they had all
Yeah, it was like too
Weird.
hipsterish for me.
baby
And
stuff.
I was like, look at this adorable romper. And I really love Izzy and Violet colors. And so I was like, ooh, and like lavenders. And I bought this adorable romper and then realized that it doesn't have snaps
Mhm.
like on the legs. And I was like, okay, well, we'll never wear this. I'm not going to take this off every time you have to change a diaper.
well,
Anyway, that's just a
that's-
big pet peeve.
that's a big, like, one, you're big into fashion. We all know that.
Clearly.
And,
Look at these bad boys. I've got overalls on if you're just listening.
And are big fashionista and have kept Izzy into some primo, really cool
Yeah.
clothes. But as a parent, you really start thinking, how could my kid shit in this? And what, you know what I mean?
How
Like,
bad will this
yeah.
stain?
It changes the way you look at clothes and
I did get her
carriers
a
and
couple
everything
days ago.
else.
I got her some pink Carhartt overalls. I'm pretty pumped about.
When we were in that shop, though, that was the most Austin experience I've ever had.
It was
with that
like
insane woman talking about
ceiling to
her
floor.
kid, and do you remember?
Completely covered. I don't remember what she was saying. I remember what she was wearing.
It was just like she was talking about living in a field somewhere because they're like building a
She was like, we're
commune
just
or-
making it work.
but then is shopping at this where everything is hundreds of dollars,
Mhm.
deal of whatever.
Like all made from plants and stuff.
But it's almost like the Portlandia thing where it's like your shirt doesn't go with your pants. Like, that. That's the point, right? Like, that's the point of it, is that I'm being intentionally ironic.
But we were out of place.
But then
for
if you
sure.
wear like khakis and a polo, then it's like,
Whoa,
God
whoa,
forbid,
too
but,
much.
Austin sucks, dude. Let's be honest. But anyway.
Okay. Anyway, I got some upsetting news.
Uh-oh.
So, big Bravo fan.
Right. We all know.
I don't care what you people think of me either. I like it. It's a guilty pleasure. I don't watch it as much as I used to because I do have a child to keep alive.
Is this Emma's news?
Emma's news.
Emma's news. Breaking news.
Dallas Housewives, which has been around, I think, 4 or 5 seasons, is now canceled.
Yeah.
There's a lot of racism going on, I heard.
Oh, yeah. That's
Which would do it.
a little bit of an issue.
Which would do it. I don't know if all of that was actually true.
Well, the one
Leanne,
yeah,
previous season,
she
100%.
made fun of the Mexican lady on the show
With
right?
an accent and
Yeah,
whatnot.
That wasn't good.
Not good.
But she was the one that was a carny, right? I remember.
Yes, dude.
talked
What the
about
heck?
her carny upbringing.
She's like, I'm raised in a carnival and like talking like that. And she's beautiful. And like, it's just, well, I mean, but it was just like kind of interesting. But, now they're canceled. And but I liked several of them. I follow them on the gram and whatnot. But
yeah, one of the guys I saw in Dallas came into the restaurant.
yeah.
And I was like,
It's
hey,
like, can we please be best friends?
I saw him and I was like, well, I think he got accused for
I know.
making
shh.
fun of the Asian lady. So maybe we shouldn't be friends.
Accused.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't there, but
Alleged till proven guilty.
I was like, that's a guy. And then I like said hi, like while I was just walking around, and then
Well,
I
how'd
was
you
like-
know him? Because your wife watches.
We had watched 9 episodes, I think, the day before, because this was like when you were pregnant, though, I think, where we were just, yeah. But then I was like, hey, man, are you, housewives? And it was like, I couldn't have asked him a worse question. Like, he was so upset that someone recognized him from the show, because
Because he's like actually a really good businessman.
he's,
Right?
well, he's
Or he's
rich, and
trust,
his
baby.
family is rich, and maybe
Like super rich.
and I'm sure he's great or whatever, but like rich, like they bought like a $10 million house, right? Or whatever.
Yeah,
in
and
one
surprised her
episode.
with it. How do you not know that your husband's buying a $10 million house?
Well,
And it was so dope.
It
was so dumb.
It was cool.
Anyway,
but he was upset that I knew him from that. And
well,
then I was like,
better
well,
get used
sorry
to
I
it,
brought
sir.
it
There's a
up,
lot of
yeah.
people watching Bravos.
So no more Housewives of Dallas.
So Fort Worth, we're up.
Your chance may have flown out the window with
What
that
about
one.
Fort Worth?
Could they do a Housewives of Fort Worth?
I don't know who would be on it.
I bet we could pick some people right now who would be on it. It would be good. There's a lot of socialite people that I think
have
would
like
be good.
stupid money though.
Well, there's a lot of people like that in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
But then you also kind of have to be a little bit crazy because
That's
I
what
think
I'm saying. You got to be like, I'm willing to yell at this person in public
Yeah.
and not like think seconds about it. And like, is that real or is it like
I think it's a
for
little
the
bit
show?
of both.
Like, I know I got to keep my storyline going.
You can tell the Beverly Hills one. Is that the Lisa Vanderpump? Those ones?
Yeah, she's out, but yeah.
Well, those ones, you can tell because it's kind of like Hollywood too, and they're all sort of like the Lisa Rinna and that.
Dorit.
They're like actresses, and
Yeah.
so it's like you can tell some of the stuff is like they're, like you didn't text me back, and they're like crying, and it's like the end of the world, that like blowing something way out of proportion.
Speaking of Beverly Hills,
Oh yeah, update.
Erica Girardi, aka 50-plus-year-old pop singer Erica Jane,
Mm-hmm.
married to Tom Girardi, or divorcing. I don't know if they're actually divorced yet. Actually, so Tom, we talked about this a couple episodes ago. Tom Girardi is the lawyer from Aaron Brockovich, the movie, which
Very wealthy, talented lawyer.
yeah, got a ton of help for people over the years. Couple months ago comes out that he is like not giving people their settlement money and claiming that he can like get interest for them if he keeps their checks once they beat the lawsuit or whatever. He's like, oh, let me keep your money. It's gonna.
Can I restart?
Yeah.
So there was like with the gas company, there was like faulty issues that were because of negligence from the company that like blew up houses.
Right.
So we saw a documentary. This guy's girlfriend died, right?
Mhm.
His entire body was burned. He's had serious issues. There was another lady that like something happened.
Her son died, and
yeah. Wasn't there a lady that like couldn't get pregnant though or something?
yeah,
Just think of the
just
worst
terrible
stories
things
ever.
Yeah.
So this guy allegedly wins lawsuits for him, gets settlements, and it
Mhm.
wasn't like insane, like your freaking love of your life dies, like who cares? But at least you get $20 million out of it. So his trick was let me handle
The finances.
the money.
Yeah.
You have this settlement instead of like just giving them the settlement or whatever. Maybe there was something where like sometimes they make it to where it's paid out after
Mhm.
the time. You don't just get like a check. He was like, let me invest this money and then
I'll
you'll
give
get
you
a
monthly
10% return on your investment,
Right.
whatever. Why these people did that, I don't know. You got to think there's a little bit
because
of blame there.
he just won this settlement for
Right.
them. They obviously trust him. They say in the documentary too. The documentary's on Hulu. It's pretty good.
Come on, brain.
Blah, blah, blah. But it's like he becomes their friends. They trust him. He's going to dinner with them. He's
Yeah.
getting coffee with them. He knows everything about them. And so when
You're gonna
he's
make
like,
so much
hey,
money.
let me
Yeah.
also get you 10% on top of this
Right.
$20 million check, they're like, okay, I trust you.
So multiple people, again, this guy's entire like body has been burned and he needs like, they have bills, they have all this
Surgeries.
stuff, terrible stuff. And then he's like, can't get any of the money from the guy. Like
Right.
he's like, oh yeah, man, we'll get you a check next week or whatever. Then
So
it turns out,
Meanwhile, Erica is on Housewives of Beverly Hills, just like flaunting.
we have multiple jets.
Yeah, we have a family jet. I'll hop on the other jet and meet you out in Palm Springs. Like that kind of talk. Like not even like normal in any sort of the way.
One of the last episodes we saw, she had a house at La Quinta at the Madison Club, I think is specifically, which is one of the like most primo spots in Palm Springs. Great golf course. I would love to play sometime. But she was like, yeah, apparently we have a house here, and I've never
been
visited
to it. And they were married 20 years.
So
But anyway, so she's like,
well, I just wanted to set it up because then it's like the guy's broke.
so yes, and so the season is currently going on where all of this is like coming to light with Tom and Erica, and the other women are starting to get a little suspicious. So like they like have a powwow at one of the ladies' houses, and they start like, we shouldn't have our names involved in this. Like obviously we're in the light also. We just want to like kind of back out, and they're all like 100%. And then
Because wouldn't you say they were starting to like they were supporting her?
yeah, they're
and
like,
then
this
the
is
more
our
that
friend.
came out, yeah.
And then they're like, wait, did she know? Did she
Yeah.
not know that he was keeping this money? Meanwhile, she's doing $40,000 for like Glam Squad every month.
$40,000
For Glam. Insane, right? And so anyway, the women started to kind of question it, and then they have a Christmas dinner, and they're like, hey, Erica, we are kind of questioning this, and kind of does like a little blow up thing, and like all the women weren't as aggressively being real as how they were at the coffee night the night before or whatever. And so now that all of this is coming out, she's getting sued for at least 25 million, I believe.
Jeez.
And 14 million of the 25 million was to pay off her Amex bill.
Good God.
14 million on Amex. And then like 102,000 to a glam person, like all of these different things. And so apparently they're saying that money was supposed to 100% go to the victims.
Right.
And she kind of just like spread it out. And so now they're requesting that money back.
Well, to be clear, I think what is 100% fact is his law firm was in charge of those accounts. He was using the money for their stuff. What's unclear is how
much she knew.
was, but
and she's going to play that card hard.
he was literally like music videos on tour. Like,
oh, yeah.
they were just spending money, ungodly amounts of money, to the point where these other women, like Kyle Richards, is like from the Hilton family, right? I mean,
no, her sister married into the Hiltons,
Oh.
but they're long-term actor, movie star family.
they're all wealthy, though.
They're all,
and they're like,
and her husband's that
the real estate
yeah,
guy.
real estate.
Yeah, he's cool. I want to talk about real estate videos too, but there's they're super wealthy, and they were like, holy shit, dude, this chick has a lot of like every
Just
designer
stupid
bag,
money.
every like whatever. So,
and then on
where there's
one
smoke,
of the
there's fire.
one of my favorite sayings on one of the episodes, one of the last episodes, though, she starts talking about, you can see where she's trying to start to cover up what's coming out as it's coming out. And she's like, oh, well, Tom was in this wreck, and you guys all knew about the wreck and just thought this 3 years ago that he was in this wreck and that he hurt his ankle. Well, comes to find out that he rolled down a hill behind our house and was unconscious for 12 hours. And none of you guys knew that. And she's like, weirdly enough, that's right when all of this stuff started coming out where he was being like shady with all this money. So it's like clearly his like head got hit too hard and he's starting to make poor decisions.
Trying to say like maybe
He's
has
incompetent
dementia or
for
something.
making these decisions. And so now that's what they're his lawyers are trying to claim that. He's in a nursing home now, which
But
is
didn't
crazy.
you say like somebody like called the police and they were like, we have no record of any?
Yeah. So because obviously I follow these Instagrams,
Of course.
random reality blurb
Yeah.
ones, but they're saying that there's no police record that he was even in a car wreck
Yeah.
to like at all. And that came
Nothing.
out at like 2 or 3 seasons ago that he was in a car wreck. And they were like, is he okay? And she's like, yeah, he's fine. Just his ankle was bumped up. Then like this season, she's like, he was unconscious, all this stuff. And the police have no record.
But if you
Normally
like,
you
rolled
tell
down a
people-
cliff or something,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
normally
Like,
you
what
call
do
the
you mean?
cops if you're in wrecks. Anyway, it's super shady,
think.
and so it's still starting to come out more and more. I think tonight's another episode, but
Oh snap!
yeah.
We have a couple listener questions. Should we get to that?
Yeah,
I had some other stuff, but I don't know.
we can
do.
save it.
Okay. Well, our bros at Fox Brothers Barbecue
Shout out.
in Hotlanta. Shout out Jonathan and Justin, our good friends, Arlington Heights alums, actually from Fort Worth. They just opened their second
opened.
store.
Yeah.
So and it looks badass.
Cannot
so,
wait to go.
Yeah, it should be awesome. Jerry Garcia or John Mayer?
That's a hard one for you.
Not for
Just
me.
kidding.
Yeah,
I
not
know,
for
no,
me at all. Jerry Garcia, 1000%, all the way, not even a question. But I will say,
I appreciate.
John Mayer's great,
Yes.
and he puts his own kind of flair on it. We've talked about John Mayer?
Oh, we
on
talked
this,
about John
I'm
Mayer
sure.
a lot because he was in Montana or whatever.
Right.
And our
I
friend was
forgot
like, "Oh,
about
there's
that.
John Mayer."
No one annoyed me more than John Mayer a while ago, and then I really like him. I think he's a cool guy. I mean, he's clearly like a little bit of a weirdo, but incredible guitarist, and he kind of puts his own spin on the Dead songs. Like it's
I
like
love it.
Jerry's
Yeah.
style and stuff, but you know, his tone. I mean, some of it it's like almost like mimics. It's like great,
Mhm.
and then some of it is like a little bit of his own kind of deal, and then he's doing John Mayer face, you know, the whole
Yeah.
time, and whatever. John Mayer is incredibly talented, but yeah, you
But
can't.
Jerry
you gotta go.
Garcia began an entire movement.
I mean, you could say
Yeah.
that's the thing is like now the Grateful Dead are like the thing that like 16-year-old girls wear, you know, and
Yeah,
'cause
like
they
the
think it's
Dancing
cool.
Bears.
Or like have a phone cover, but they're one of the most influential bands of
Yeah.
all time with how they experimented with music and acid
Drugs.
and everything else. But they're awesome. The Patreon question again, if you're patreon.com/Heim Time Podcast and you want a topic, question, whatever, we'll answer it. This was Richard Miller, our buddy. Hi, Heims. I would be curious on your opinions of home smokers like Traeger, etc. Would you rank brands that you like? Is it possible to match the perfection of your barbecue with a home smoker? And then he has a second question that we'll answer. But first, I've never cooked on a Traeger. Our buddy Matt Pittman is sponsored by them. Says they're great.
Maybe you should. You'll get a sponsor.
I mean, we talked about it last episode. I don't know. I don't know if I'm like friendly enough to do all that. It's like, I do get a Yeti discount, but I'm not like an ambassador, and that's bothered me forever.
Okay.
But whatever. We don't have like a publicist too. I feel like that's something that could help. But anyway, that's not the answer to your question. But Liquid Death, delicious. Trace Agaves Tequila sponsors us, so that's awesome. We got some things going, but
What are you doing?
Traeger smokers, you can control them like with your phone on an app. It's supposed to be like super easy.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to make sure you got the wood and stuff. And then, from what I've seen from like Matt's videos and stuff, it looks like really good. So I think they're a great brand. I think there's a lot of other brands. There's like RecTech. I know a lot of guys in our barbecue classes have recommended them, pellet smokers. Green Mountain Grills is another one. I don't know if they have all the bells and whistles that a Traeger does, but Traegers are also like pretty expensive too. They're like a couple grand if you get the good one. I'm still like always going to be a fan. And I said that on the Whataburger, Texas Rangers podcast of like, I don't think a smoker should have an electric plug, but I was kind of joking. You know what I mean? Like, I think anything is good. And most people, especially like us with a child, you don't have time to cook a brisket for 16 hours and poke a fire and all that. So I love the offsets. I love the offsets that Millscale builds. Moberg is making backyard offset pits. Franklin is doing his own backyard pits. They're all extremely expensive, but really cool. Will last like a lifetime. You could give it to your kid. So I think offsets are still the way to go, but I'm sure you can do good barbecue with that as long as you maintain temperature and all that.
And you can do it because you've done it. You can make restaurant quality one brisket at a time in your backyard.
Yeah.
Because that's how we started.
Green eggs. I mean, Smoky Mountain's what I started cooking on, and you can make good stuff with that. Again, I never did the pellets, but I'm sure it's similar. Doesn't really answer your question,
hiccups,
Richard.
man.
Sorry, I know. Secondly, I thought this was interesting. I eat a primarily animal-based carnivore diet to stay lean year-round. It's primarily meat, organ meats, Heim barbecue, very little plant foods, and some fruit to fuel workouts when I need. I was curious if you have seen a rise in people eating a carnivore-style diet in your restaurants. that the first time I heard of that was on Rogan's podcast because I think he was doing it
Yeah.
for a while, and I was like, "This is a thing I can get behind." You just eat like meat and bacon, and that's it. But then he described the bowel movements that you have for
Yeah, I'm
like
sure
the
they're
first
terrible.
month, and I was like, "Yep, that's enough to not."
But
wanna
yeah, I
do
do
that.
think a lot of people do that. We have several people tag us
Yeah.
on Instagram. It's like, this is like my Heim day. And it's literally just like a pound of brisket, bacon, and like a pound of ribs.
Keto is big. I think I see
Yeah.
that more than anything. A lot of keto, which I guess is kind of similar, maybe no sugar or whatever.
Yeah. A lot of people will message and be like, what can I eat that's keto?
Hmm.
Because like the bacon burn ends, you can't because there's sugar.
A lot of brown sugar, yeah,
Mhm.
brisket and all that stuff's fine. But yeah, I guess we've seen a little bit of it, but I think it's more like keto and stuff like that. And then we still get a lot of vegetarians that come in, which still baffles me. But they'll eat like the mac and cheese and
We have
all that
salads
stuff.
now.
We do have salads. They're delicious.
Yeah, they are.
too. But yeah, awesome.
Thanks for your
shout
question.
out Richard. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. He's the guy, the boxing, he's
Yeah.
talked to us or sent a message about boxing before. And I've hit the Peloton recently, but I'm still trying to like work on other stuff. I need to golf more. I haven't golfed enough, but that's a good form of exercise. What?
I think, yeah.
Okay.
You're doing it.
I'm trying. So yeah, awesome. Well, we're going to a road trip to Colorado soon.
We are.
so
We're going to take our
please-
baby.
Yeah, we had another trip planned, but then it was out of the country, and we're just
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It's not. Things are so weird now, but we're driving up to Colorado. Send us recommendations, anything we should do or whatever.
Stop along the way places would be awesome. Like, should our route go through Santa Fe? I know it adds time, but should we come back and go through Santa Fe?
It's a lot of driving.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're doing it anyway.
Yeah,
We'll
guess.
see. We got to look at it. So if there's any recommendations from DFW area up to like Breckenridge area, let us know.
Breckenridge.
Breckenridge.
We got Moana on the
Downloaded.
iPad. We're ready.
Got a new sunshade for the window.
Heck yeah.
We're good to go.
So anyway, shout out. So next week, I guess I won't say who our guest is in case
I
it does
think we
get
should-
canceled, but
Yeah,
we got a big guest.
we do.
We got a big time guest, and I actually need to send them questions
'Cause they're like
'cause they
those
have to
types.
sign
They
off
gotta
on it.
Prepare and be okay with what we ask.
Yeah,
So
which I'm sure I'll
there'll
say
be
something
no talk of
stupid.
murder and drugs
Well,
on
you never know.
Yellowstone.
You never know.
Oh, you never know.
But yeah, big time guest next week, and then we'll be gone the week after. But we're gonna try to shoot two, and
Yeah,
figure
keep
it
up.
out. But
Maybe we should shoot one while we're driving.
yeah, could do that.
Put the little camera in the car.
We're gonna get some other videos going and other stuff, and then we got some more announcements coming soon.
We do.
But I think we'll hold off on that. But anyway, this has been another episode of Heim Time Podcast, sponsored by Agaves Tequila. Shout out them. You can always patreon.com/Heim Time Podcast, YouTube, subscribe, review, all that crap helps. We're up to 26 patrons.
26.
That's
I remember we didn't
insane,
have
dude.
innies.
That is absolutely insane. So shout out.
Thank you guys.
If you've listened this far in the podcast, we really appreciate all of our Patreon members, everyone who's doing the downloads on iTunes, all that stuff. It means a lot to us. And we're going to try to keep this going and
Yeah.
more random, unrelated to barbecue topics. So
But like a little sprinkle of barbecue in there.
yeah, we talked a little bit today.
Yeah, we
so.
did.
All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.